You're watching Rules of the Game with Bill Krug and Zach Farrell. Brought to you by these fine sponsors: Ace Cuts, Albert Sporting Goods, All Blaze Equipment Rental, Buffalo Wild Wing, Capability, Salina Cycle Center, Eagle Loan Company of Salina, Eagle 767, FCA, Fowler's TV, Freedom Marketing Strategies, Guarneri's Pub and Pizzeria, JT's Brew and Grill, Larry Schaff Auto Sales, MHS Alumni Foundation, Miller Funeral Homes, Minster Bank, Neck and Back Pain Relief Center, Plus One Professionals Real Estate, Writer Rooters, Roots Pub, St. Mary's Foundry, Sean Barnett Electrical, Spees Chiropractic and Wellness Center, Spring Street Storage, TSC, and Varsity Lanes.
Hello and welcome to Rules of the Game with Bill Krug. I'm your host, Zach Farrell. Each week we bring local official Bill Krug into Rider Nation Station to talk about some of the clips from the previous game. Thanks for being here, Bill.
Hey, Zach. I'm glad to be here.
Bill, it's an extra special week because the Rough Rider Kenton game had an extra special crew. That was yourself and your crew, right?
That's correct. We had the game.
So we're going to have some clips, and we're going to be as nice as we can to the officials during that game. But it's really neat that you're able to talk us through exactly what you were looking at or what went on during the game. Speaking of which, we had a viewer question. So early in the game, one of the play clocks was malfunctioning for Kenton. And so what occurred during that, and what was the proper mechanics for fixing that or understanding that?
If one of the two play clocks, there's a play clock at each end of the field. The quarterbacks are instructed where they're at and to be looking for them. And if one of them goes out, you have to turn the other one off. If one goes out, one team can't use it and the other team not. So you have to turn them both off. And we had a little bit of, up there at Kenton, they said that they couldn't turn it off. So they couldn't turn the one end off when the other one wasn't working. So we just had to tell the quarterbacks, don't look at it because it's not going to move. We told them, leave it. I even asked them, can you put this at 0? Mm-hmm. And they said no. I said, okay, just don't run it.
Right.
Just leave it at 25. So I told the quarterback, it's going to stay 25. So you got to look at the back judge. Then the back judge will be the one that'll have the play clock, and he'll put his hand up for 5 or for 10 seconds. And then when it gets down to 5, then he'll put both hands up. And he'll be counting them down as loud as he can. If the quarterback can hear where the back, who is 25 yards away from him, he will be counting it down. So the back judge has the play clock, when the play clocks go off.
And then I think at halftime they were able to get both of them working again,
Yep.
So we didn't have to worry about that as much. But
Right.
There was a little bit of chaos there for a second on the field.
It was. Yep.
Well, let's go ahead and jump right into the clips. This first one was a touchdown by Kenton, and I thought a missed holding call here on Compton. You can see 32 right there in the front of your screen, and there he sort of gets twisted and pulled down backwards, and unfortunately Kenton was able to score on that.
Yeah, that's I watched the game film this week just because it was our crew.
Right.
And I thought, how did we not get that? I mean, someone's got to see that. I mean, look at that right there. It's
right on the hash mark there.
Yeah, right on the hash. That was a pretty bad miss on our part, I think. That should have been got.
Right around the point of attack.
Oh my Lord, yes. I mean that one should have come back. That shouldn't have been a touchdown.
It happens to everyone. So,
it does. There's only 6 of us. In college there's 8 or 9. In the pros there's 8 or 9. There's just 6 of us, but you miss things.
Yeah. Well, on a kickoff, I believe this was the kickoff to start the game. Unfortunately, St. Mary's got an early offsides on the kickoff. I think number 44, Owen Ott, right there, as you can see, is crossing the line a little bit early.
Yep.
I guess I just was curious, is that as an official, do you care if it's the first kickoff of the game? Or
sure, yeah. I mean, when he's a full yard over,
right.
you have to get it. I mean,
right.
You have to get it. If he's right at when the ball's being kicked, might be a little leeway of, okay, he wasn't really offside, but he was a full yard off, and you've got to get that. That's on film. Mm-hmm. Everybody can see it.
And that's huge for a team like St. Mary's, where that 5 yards is the difference between putting it in the end zone or not.
Right.
Potentially.
Right.
So, fortunately, St. Mary's was able to work from that. But
right.
This next play then was an early face mask call against St. Mary's on the Kenton quarterback, I think. I don't think it was a 15-yarder. I think they just called it a 5-yarder. So maybe you can just walk through what the officials were seeing here as that was happening. I want to while we're looking at that, I want to give a shout out to Logan Yelton for getting us the Rider Nation Station clips on all of these plays. We normally use the huddle clips, and everybody should be able to recognize, or longtime viewers should recognize that the clips are a little clearer and a little bit closer up this week, which is really nice to have.
Okay, the difference between a 5-yard face mask and then a personal foul 15 is if you grasp the face mask and leave it go, you're just going to get the 5. But if you grasp it and his head turns just the slightest bit, either down, either side, that's a personal foul. That's, you're messing with the kid's neck there, and so it's going to be 15. But I think that one there was only 5. But it was 3rd and 7.
Yeah.
And I think it was a sack, so it should have been 4th and 15 or something. Right. But it ended up being third and two. Yeah.
Yeah, it could have potentially ended their drive. I think that this was the same drive then that they were able to go down and score on.
Yeah.
So
I think that was at the
actually
first.
No, this was he threw an interception anyway.
On the first series.
Couple plays later. Yep. I think this is also another play on that. I believe on that same drive, Kenton quarterback scrambles, and we thought that the ball was loose. It's very close to being loose. I honestly have watched this several times. We can slow it down as much as we can, but because of where the ball is located, it's really hard to see if it was moving before he hit the ground or not. It kind of popped straight up in the air.
When I saw the ball loose, I didn't see when it came loose. So my eyes go to both wings to see if they're saying he was down or not.
Right.
And they immediately said he was down. And see, is the ball loose right there? I mean, did his butt already hit? So
yeah, it's really hard to see.
That was really tough to see. So I think they did a good job and said, no, he was down.
Yeah, and both wings came in right away and did say that, so that was good to hear. Now this was, I think, on the same drive, 4th down. I think St. Mary's called a timeout, but then there was also a flag by this line judge. So what overrules what there? I don't know what the I don't know if it was a false start or an onside. I'm not sure if you remember or not.
No, I don't remember what it was, because I think anytime there's a situation like that, you're gonna give the coach the benefit of the doubt and say he got the timeout before that ball was snapped. So
I think it was too many men on the field. Now that I think about it, maybe there was an extra player on the field, and I think Coach Bo Fry came running in to call a timeout there, and he must have just gotten it off just a split second before the penalty came out down below.
We gave him the timeout, I believe. So.
Well, I was just curious. I remember that happening and thinking kind of, ooh, that's really close there.
Yeah.
Penalty from one line judge and a timeout called by the other. So.
I think you'll always see the officials err on the side of caution and give the coach the timeout.
Excellent. This play was on defense. Dylan Fink down here at the bottom of the screen got called with a holding there against his player. So watch at the bottom of your screen. Dylan Fink's out and playing defense, and then sort of hip throws his guy a little bit down there.
Okay, that wasn't a holding.
Oh, okay.
That was a personal foul.
Oh, okay.
And that it would have probably just been a holding had 2 or 3 plays before that. The same kids got into it, and our line judge there had told him, just warned him, just fellas, knock that stuff off. And Dylan Fink kind of smarted off to him.
Oh.
And so the next time it happened, Dylan Fink didn't get the
warning.
He didn't get. I don't know what the word I want to use is, but it went against him, and especially you can see he's the one that threw the kid down.
He didn't get any grace.
No, he didn't get any grace. No, but he could have got when he sassed off to our line judge there, he could have got a unsportsmanlike for that.
Right.
So he's not going to get any favors if that's how you're going to treat the officials.
Just pushed his luck a little too far.
One of the safety is the very first thing in officiating. The very first top thing is safety, and the second thing is supposed to be sportsmanship.
Right.
Fairness and sportsmanship, and sometimes that doesn't get translated to the kids,
Yep.
or the coaches.
Yeah. We're watching here pass interference call against St. Mary's. John Young's there, just a little bit of contact, I think, at the end. And I thought, as I was watching it during the game, if he would have got his head around, he may have been okay even with that contact, because it may have looked like he was going towards the ball more, but he just sort of runs into the guy as the guy tries to come back to the ball.
Yeah, I mean, it even looks like he pushes him. I don't know how much he pushed him, but I can see why there would be a flag there. But remember this, in high school, you don't have to get your head turned around.
Right. You can face guard.
You can face guard in high school. You can get your hands up in their face.
And then this was at the end of the first half. Kenton was trying to score down at the goal line, and fortunately they weren't able to score. The pass was incomplete here. But I just thought, and I know this was called later in the game, or maybe it was earlier in the game, but if you watch Kenton's offensive line, as the quarterback scrambles to his left, those linemen look like they're pretty far down the field.
Yeah, that's what we got them for. But remember, on this play, it was an incomplete pass. It was the last play of the half. So the lineman downfield had no meaning on the play.
So this was called. I'm sorry.
It was called.
Yeah, okay.
It was called, and there was no. It meant nothing because it was fourth down, and the end of the half. So St. Mary's declined the penalty, and that ended the half.
So no reason for any coaches or anybody to complain from Kenton about that, because it was an incomplete pass anyway.
And they did for 2 more quarters.
And by looking at it there, it was the right call. I mean, those guys were clearly
there were 2 of them down there.
2 or 3 yards down the field.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to look at the final clips, including the end of the game, where I think some of the viewers and ourselves were kind of curious about what was going on with a penalty or a timeout called on Kenton's last drive. We'll be back with those clips and more right after this.
You're watching Rules of the Game with Bill Krug and Zach Farrell. Brought to you by these fine sponsors: Ace Cuts, Albert Sporting Goods, Hog Blaze Equipment Rental, Buffalo Wild Wing, Capability, Salina Cycle Center, Eagle Loan Company of Salina, Eagle 767, FCA, Fowler's TV, Freedom Marketing Strategies, Guarneri's Pub and Pizzeria, JT's Brew and Grill, Larry Schaff Auto Sales, MHS Alumni Foundation, Miller Funeral Homes, Minster Bank, Neck and Back Pain Relief Center, Plus One Professionals Real Estate, Writer Rooters, Roots Pub, St. Mary's Foundry, Sean Barnett Electrical, Spees Chiropractic and Wellness Center, Spring Street Storage, TSC, and Varsity Lanes.
Welcome back to Rules of the Game with Bill Krug. I'm your host, Zach Farrell. We want to thank all of our sponsors for all year sponsoring this. We couldn't do this without them. We're going to have the writers again this week. Mark Sisko is going to be joining me at Grand Lake Health Systems Field for the Rough Riders taking on Elida. So we'll hopefully have more clips next week from that game, Bill.
Great.
Let's jump right in here to this next clip. This was a possible pass interference. Kenton certainly wanted it there on Adam Childs, but nothing was called. Don't know if you remember this play or not. Adam Childs right there, 22, sort of has an arm. It looks like he's maybe holding back the receiver's arm, but I think he did a good job of just keeping, knocking the ball down with his other hand and not really.
If I remember, this ball was really thrown behind the receiver.
Mm-hmm.
If it had been thrown out in front of him, where he would have had a chance, but Logan Childs made a nice play on this, or number 22. That's Logan Childs. I think he made a nice play on it and getting that hand out there. it doesn't look like he turned him any. I think the ball was just thrown behind him.
Yeah, I think it was a just good defense. Let's look at this play here. Owen I thought got held a few times during the game, and that was one that we were able to show on the camera a little bit. Although he doesn't, the Kenton guy, the tackle definitely has his jersey. So we're looking at the top of the screen there.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Does it matter whether he's significantly slowed down, or is it supposed to be called no matter what if it's kind of outside the body like that?
Well, it's got to do is got to put him at a disadvantage. And if there was going to be someone to call that there, it would have been me. I mean, I'm right there. I'm looking right at it. Mm-hmm. And I don't think it put the St. Mary's kid at a disadvantage. That ball was going to be away before he ever got to him anyway.
Gotcha.
And like you said, it happened 2 or 3 times.
Right.
And I never once thought that he held him bad enough to make an impact on the play.
Gotcha. This next play then, I just threw an easy one in here for you.
Okay,
so
great.
You can see at the top of your screen that I think the Kenton wide receiver comes running into the game, and he's not even set when the ball's snapped.
Yep. That was an easy one.
Yeah, I'm not sure where he came from. I don't know if it was kind of weird. Maybe they had a long play.
I think he went in motion.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure that kid went in motion because I even took a glimpse out there is he going to get set? Is he going to get set? I was thinking to myself. And then I had to turn back. I had to turn back and focus on what was in front of me and let my wingman over there do his job, and he did.
One of the perils probably of having a freshman quarterback, he doesn't always take his time to make sure he's set.
That freshman quarterback was good.
He's very good, and we're
he's good. He's
very
tough.
Worried about the next 3 years with him being there.
He was very tough, and he was very polite, and he was a good quarterback for Kenton, and they're going to be really good with him.
Well, some of the guys in the truck wanted you to look at this one. This was Savion Murphy, number 50, coming out there. They thought he kind of led with the helmet a little bit there. I know he's a blocker, but I think we've talked about using the helmet at all can potentially be a penalty.
Yeah, I doubt if you're going to get that. I'm doubt if anybody's going to call that.
Right.
He's out there blocking, and those guys get their knockheads every single play.
Right.
And what you're looking on something like that is the first thing. And he's the lead blocker. He's coming out there. He's leading the whole play. And the very first thing you're looking at is he going to cut him? Is he going to go low? Mm-hmm. Or is the defense going to go low on him and take the blocker out, which they're not allowed to do either. And the next thing you're looking to see if he's got his arms wrapped around him. And neither of those happened, and by that time the play's over. So the helmet to helmet there is a non-issue.
Gotcha. This next call was, I think, a holding call on 38. Caleb Schmidt there just sort of wrapped the end guys around. We saw it as it happened, but I think that had happened a couple times. He kind of got away with it. Wasn't as egregious as this time, but got caught on this one, right?
Yeah, I called this one, and Coach Fry wasn't happy with me, but it was the right call. It was the right call, and just 2 or 3 plays before that, I think he got his arm out there, but he got it away from him before he ever turned him. Now watch, he has his arm stuck there, and see him turn him?
Yep.
He's turning him. That's a classic hold. That is a hold.
Definitely an advantage to the runner. And
right at the point of attack, and that was right in front of me. I had to throw my flag on that one, and
I think we had your back during the broadcast.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I think we said he got away with it a couple plays ago, but that one lasted a little bit longer. Wasn't able to get away with that one.
Joe said he was going to take care of me.
This is another one with no pass interference called. I think Kenton wanted something called. We know that it doesn't matter that it's uncatchable out of bounds necessarily, but your thoughts about this one. Was this your call, or is this?
No, see, I'm in the backfield.
Oh, you're in the backfield. Right.
No, I don't think there's anything there. It would have been to anyone's advantage either way.
And receiver is able to make a pretty good play on the ball, but it is out of bounds too. So it's not necessarily that he was pushed out of there. That's where the ball was taking him.
Right.
Okay, so this play was one of the more interesting plays. So long pass down the field called incomplete, but I think you guys also had holding on the play in the backfield, so it really didn't matter whether this was complete or not. Am I correct on that?
Yes.
Okay.
There was a holding in the backfield, so whether he catches that ball or not, it's coming back.
Was that holding on against Jackson Ramel there, that 63 on the?
Well, it would have been. I think it was the left tackle.
Right. Okay.
Okay. Where's Jackson Ramel?
That's where he is there on the top.
Now watch.
He gets pulled down and then kind of twisted around.
And then he tackled. I mean, Jackson's on his knees, and then he takes him even farther. If he had when Jackson went down to his knees, if he would have just pushed him, just kept him there and pushed him. But no, watch him. He'll jump on him. See that?
Yep.
And that's a hold.
And then, I guess, were you able to talk to your back judge about what he saw there for the catch at all? Or
yeah, he said he saw the ball on the ground underneath the kid.
Gotcha.
And then when he went around on the back side and see him go around on the back,
yep,
he just was being positive about it.
Right.
He saw it go down, and then he just went around and just made sure he should have maybe been about 5-10 yards deeper, but
yeah. It was very difficult. I mean, we watched several replays and couldn't find it out during the game, but it was interesting to see that, and I was curious to get your guys' perspective. So I appreciate that. All right, let's just talk about then the last play of the game.
Okay.
So, or not the last play. I'm sorry. The last drive of the game for Kenton. Very confusing here, where there was a timeout called, we thought, but we didn't realize there was also apparently a face mask penalty on the play. And we're not able to catch the face mask, unfortunately, with the clips.
Correct.
But we can see that the ball comes down around just past the 30-yard line. If we skip to the next play, then we see that the ball is now farther down the field, closer to the 20-yard line. And so that was a 10
half the distance to the goal.
Half the distance to the goal. Okay, I was curious about that.
Yeah, what happened on the play was the St. Mary's defender grabbed the face mask. It's clear out here to the right.
Okay.
He grabs it would be the left tackle's face mask, and actually even ripped it off. Had his face mask off.
Okay.
And so now we got the play down here. They're calling timeout. Kenton is calling timeout. So we have the penalty.
Penalty stops the clock anyway, right?
Penalty stops the clock anyway, so they really didn't need the timeout. And so what happened on the play was we're going to have to take the penalty no matter what. He catches the ball, so we're going to go half the distance to the goal from that spot right there. And I asked the coach, I said, "Coach, do you still want that timeout?" And one of his assistants was standing right by him, and this assistant's shaking his head, no. And their head coach said, "Yes, we still want the timeout." I said, "Are you sure?" And he said, "Yes, I want the timeout." And so I'm signaling timeout. The assistant coach grabs the head coach and says, I'm watching it happen. Assistant coach grabs the head coach and says, "We don't want that timeout. We don't need it. The clock stopped." And he goes, "Okay, I didn't want that timeout. I didn't want that timeout." I said, "You said you wanted the timeout." And he said, "I didn't tell you that." I go, "Oh, yes, you did." You told me, yes, I still want my timeout. He said, "I know what's going on here. I know the game management of you want the time. I'll give you the timeout. I mean, I won't make you take the timeout."
Right.
But you did tell me you wanted the timeout. So
right.
We took the timeout away. They kept that timeout. But that's what took so long in that was we marched it off half the distance. We had the penalty. We marched it off half the distance. Told Kenton that the kid that his helmet come off could stay in the game because it happened on a penalty, and then the timeout snafu.
And then the clock started once the ball was set again?
Yes. Okay. Once the ball was ready to play, now we're going to restart it.
Gotcha.
Start it and go.
But Kenton should be able to get their guys there and get it snapped right away.
Exactly.
So no need to do a timeout.
So they didn't lose that much time.
Now, let me ask you here. So we have this next play. I can see you in the backfield there kind of waiting, not letting them snap it right away or something. If we can press play right there. Were you waiting for your officials to get into position? Or
what?
Because the back judge came in there to kind of.
I was telling them there's no timeout. So
okay.
they come in and said, "Is there a timeout or not?" And I said, "No, we took the timeout. We let them keep the timeout."
Yep.
Okay. And I'm telling the Kenton quarterback, hold on, now go. So
okay.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. My back judge had come running in and said, "So is there a timeout or not?" And I said, "No, we're not going to."
Gotcha.
And then after the game, they all told me, "You're nicer than most people," because they would have made him take it, because he said, I want the timeout.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad it didn't have any big effect anyway in the end of the game. Kenton, we were confused whether they had one timeout or they had two timeouts. They ended up having two timeouts. Fortunately, they were unable to get to score and to get it within.
Well, I think they scored.
Well, they scored,
but
but
didn't get the 2-point conversion, which would have kept it 9 points or more.
And then didn't get the onside kick.
Yeah.
Right. So St. Mary's able to kneel the ball and take it there, and so we appreciate how that worked. And I appreciate you being here and being able to look through these clips. And
I love it. I'm kind of glad I got to do one here of our game.
Yeah, very neat. You're not going to have the Elida game this week, are you?
No.
Okay.
I'll be up in Crestview.
Okay. So we'll have some clips hopefully from the Elida game. Hopefully it's a good crew, and we have good clips from that game. Riders are going into the playoffs, and as long as the Riders are progressing to the next week, we'll have the clips from that previous week's game. So hope to see everybody each week for the rules of the game with Bill Krug. So long, everyone.
You're watching Rules of the Game with Bill Krug and Zach Farrell. Brought to you by these fine sponsors: Ace Cuts, Albert Sporting Goods, Hog Blaze Equipment Rental, Buffalo Wild Wing, Capability, Salina Cycle Center, Eagle Loan Company of Salina, Eagle 767, FCA, Powers TV, Freedom Marketing Strategies, Guarneri's Pub and Pizzeria, JT's Brew and Grill, Larry Schaff Auto Sales, MHS Alumni Foundation, Miller Funeral Homes, Minster Bank, Neck and Back Pain Relief Center, Plus One Professionals Real Estate, Writer Rooters, Roots Pub, St. Mary's Foundry, Sean Barnett Electrical, Spees Chiropractic and Wellness Center, Spring Street Storage, TSC, and Varsity Lanes.
Thanks for watching another episode of Rider Nation Station. Help us help you by subscribing on YouTube or following us on Facebook.